Najeela the Blade Blossom is the tribal commander warrior lovers have been waiting for. Her first ability reminds me a lot of Edgar Markov. The commanders themselves have their differences, however, the basic premise is the same. You're dedicating a lot of space to a specific tribe and playing really aggressively. Creating a horde of warrior tokens every time you attack is really cool, but where Najeela really shines is her second ability. Paying 1 mana of each color to give yourself an additional combat phase, untap all your creatures, and give them trample, lifelink, and haste is downright disgusting. The warrior tribe has been in desperate need of a dedicated commander for a long time now. Currently, there are 636 different warrior creatures in print, with more coming out with each new set. Najeela and her warrior tribe's potential are only limited by your imagination. Only time can tell just how good the Blade Blossom is, but I for one believe that Najeela stacks up with the best of them. When examining Najeela's abilities further, I believe there are 2 specific routes we can go with the warrior tribal theme. The first is a good old-fashioned punch-you-in-the-mouth aggro tribal deck. This strategy relies heavily on big-time tribal support cards like Coat of Arms that can make our warriors unbelievably powerful. What I think will end up being the strongest strategy for Najeela players out there, though, is an infinite combat theme. This strategy is all about setting up infinite combat phases as soon as possible by exploiting Najeela's second ability. The warrior tribe has a lot of synergy, and it starts with small creatures like Chief of the Edge or Chief of the Scale. These little guys might not seem like much, but if you get a bunch of them together, it can be pretty epic. 2 of my favorite warriors are Brighthearth Banneret and Erishan Foremost. Brighthearth Banneret makes for a fantastic early game play, and Erishan Foremost is every aggro player's dream, a double striking creature that gives other creatures double strike. Even Metallic Mimic and Adaptive Automaton make for great honorary warriors. With how Najeela's first ability is worded, if we declare a warrior token creature as an attacker, we'll produce another tapped and attacking warrior token. Unfortunately for your playgroup, there are a lot of warriors who produce warrior tokens like it's going out of style. With the right supporting cast at your disposal, every time you attack, you'll be making ludicrous amounts of warriors. If you rock some of these token producers though, get yourself an Aven Wind Guide. There's no excuse. It's like 30 cents, people. I don't know about you, but flying vigilant warrior tokens seem pretty gangster to me. Do you like making a bajillion warriors at instant speed? Well, Secure the Waste might be for you. And if you really like those tokens, you can throw in a Sylvan Offering or an Aketra's Monument as well. There's a little something for everyone in the warrior tribe. Whether it's haste with the Bushwhacker brothers, 1/1 counters everywhere with Azuri, insane amounts of mana with Radha, uncounterable spells with Surrak, life gain and drain with Brutal Horde Chief, or extra combat phases with Combat Celebrant, there are 1,000 different ways to abuse your opponents. Assembling the tribe is one thing, sustaining it is another. You're going to have a lot of removal coming your way, so you need to be able to shrug it off with cards like Steely Resolve or Kindred Boon. One-sided board wipes and graveyard recursion are equally important. You need to be able to press your advantage or get back into a game that you've been put out of. Win conditions in a strictly aggro deck are going to come in the form of big power boosters like Shared Animosity or Coat of Arms. Even artifacts like Door of Destinies and Obelisk of Erd are simple ways of pushing a lot of extra damage through each combat. I'd also strongly consider cards like Distant Melody and Kindred Discovery that can keep your hand full of new warriors to cast. There are also plenty of spells out there that will significantly reduce the cost of your warriors or enable you to put them onto the battlefield for free. One of my personal favorites is Descendants Path. Potentially being able to cast a warrior for free off the top of your library at the beginning of your upkeep is really nice. And if you feel like swearing in non-warriors to the warrior tribe, Arcane Adaptation and Conspiracy are your go-tos. There are quite a few ways out there to pull off infinite combat phases, but I'm going to highlight what I think are the best. There are some combo pieces like Druid's Repository that go infinite with Najeela on their own. and there are others like Cryptolith Rite and Aggravated Assault that require a little setup. And of course, Sword of Feast and Famine and Bear Umbra are absolute beasts with the Warrior Tribe. These two cards are absolute beasts in pretty much every deck they're put in. Going infinite with the repository requires that you have Najeela and at least 4 other creatures attacking. This will net us 5 charge counters on the repository, and if all 5 of our creatures are warriors, it will also net us 5 additional tapped and attacking creatures. Then before the combat phase ends, you can remove the 5 counters from the repository to give you 1 mana of each color, activate her second ability, and do it all again. In order to pull off the Cryptolith Rite combo, your creatures can't have Summoning Sickness and they also need Vigilance. With your combo pieces in play, you'll need 5 creatures that you can declare as attackers. Because our creatures have Vigilance, they won't tap as a result of combat. This means before the combat phase ends, we can tap them to Cryptolith Rite, produce the 5 mana we need to make another combat phase, and go infinite. Aggravated Assault is a bit easier to pull off. All you need is a creature like Grand Warlord Radha or Neheb and a dedicated group of aggressive warriors that can consistently produce you 5 red mana. Sword of Feast and Famine and Bear Umbra turn every combat phase into an untap your lands fiesta. This means if you have all 5 colors among the lands you control, you can go infinite right there. Or, if you can produce 5 mana, you can put it into a land like Cascading Cataracts or Crystal Quarry and have them do the work for you. The hype is real surrounding Najeela the Blade Blossom, and I can see why. An aggro-friendly general who produces tokens can make the other creatures under her control produce tokens and make additional combat phases, plus she's in all 5 colors. That's just too good. Najeela's good, but she isn't broken. Players on a tight budget are going to find it very difficult to build a quick, consistent mana base. She and her fellow warriors are also totally reliant on attacking everything, which is fine in theory, but in metas filled with spells like Cyclonic Rift, you might have a hard time. Najeela the Blade Blossom earns a 7.5 out of 10. She will struggle to keep pace with the top tier competitive commanders, but she is great in her own right, and if built to her full potential, she can absolutely wreck faces. I'm your friendly neighborhood host, Alex. Thank you so much for tuning in, and you know what's up. Stay classy, deck builders. I'll see you next time.